Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. 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 Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un.
9 soldiers killed in Borno IED explosion. Tension in Naburde as Pachama Chobo communities renege on peace deal. Wike APC National Secretary clash over Rivers politics. And on the foreign scene, deposed Venezuelan leader pleads not guilty in U.S. court. Hello there, very good evening. Welcome to News Hour on Trust TV. I am Fatima Abbas Hassan. Now the news in full. And we begin on a not too pleasant note. At least 9 Nigerian soldiers have been confirmed dead following an explosion caused by improvised explosive devices along the Gubbio axis of Borno State. A senior military source said the IEDs were planted by Boko Haram insurgents and targeted troops traveling from Maiduguri over the weekend. Several soldiers were severely injured, and the death toll rose after the initial blast. The soldiers involved were from the 145 Battalion, Damasak, under the 5 Brigade of the Nigerian Army. The explosion occurred on Sunday evening and was not a gunman ambush, but a deliberate planting of explosives along the route. This attack is the latest in a series of deadly assaults on military personnel in northeast Nigeria, where Boko Haram and ISWAP continue to use roadside bombs and coordinated attacks against troops. And now joining us via phone call to give an update is Media Trust Northeast Bureau Chief, Hamisu Matazu. Good evening, Hamisu. I hope you're keeping safe there.
Good evening. We are very safe, actually.
Okay, now, thanks for joining us. Now, what more can you tell us about the explosives, the explosion that took place?
What I can say is that the military have been, those that were injured have been evacuated to hospitals, and including the dead bodies. And there was a camp in the area because, you know, Damasak is an area, so I can say Damasak and it's a lectured area where it has been known for such Boko Haram activities for a very long time. And the state government recently took back some refugees that are in Niger Republic to Damasak, and that's why most of the military assets are being deployed there for protection. And these, the troops were moving to the Damasak area from Maiduguri when the incident happened. I think about, just as you mentioned, 6 of them were killed, and unspecified number got injured. Some are saying 5, others are saying number beyond that 5. But based on our contact there, we settled on the 5 that were injured. So what I can say about this is that of recent, the terrorists have intensified IEDs and suicide bombs attacks in Borno, who I can say not only in Borno, but in other places across the 3 states of the northeast, meaning Borno, Yobe, and even Adamawa, because most recent one is the attack on the mosque, which it has been reported where a suicide bomber entered a mosque at Gambaru Market, where I think five persons died and 34 were injured. Then came another attack that was foiled in Yobe also, where the hunters were able to be there on time and apprehended the bomber. And then here in Maiduguri, report has it that so many places were raided by the military and police, and a lot of recoveries were made. If you remember, on the 3rd of January, just day before yesterday, there's some children fishing in the Bulunkutu area, scoop bullets, I think anti-aircraft bullets from a drainage at Bulunkutu area. And at the same time today, on Monday, the police also raided another area and uncovered areas where about 912 rounds of ammunition were hidden in some places in Kunshi, Mary area of Maiduguri at the same time. So you can see the pattern of the intent of the insurgents to destabilize the most communities in not only in outside Maiduguri, the state capital, but within the capital city. That's based on what the residents are saying, is a source of concern, because this thing is happening not at the fringes of the town, but in the heart of the town. Because the Mary area is in the heart of Maiduguri, and the Bulunkutu area is almost an outskirts, but now it has become part of major part of the town. So you can see they were able to have their way into the state capital, and it's a source of concern to residents. And many people are expressing fear, especially in worship places like mosque and churches around the town.
Thank you very much, our Bureau Chief in the Northeast, Hamisu Matazu, for that elaborate update. We hope to join you again to give us more update as soon as things unfold there. Thank you very much. Now, moving on. Troops of Operation Wellstroke have recovered 13 AK-47 rifles and several grenades in Taraba State following an intelligence-led raid in Takum local government area. According to Lieutenant Ahmed Zubairu, acting media information officer of the Joint Task Force, the operation on January 4th targeted an associate of notorious criminal kingpin John Gata. Acting on intelligence, troops set up a snap roadblock at Zakibiam and intercepted the suspect, who led them to a concealed armory at Amadu village. The force commander, Major General Moses Gara, commended the troops for their professionalism and swift action, which disrupted a criminal supply chain. He also thanked the public for their cooperation and urged residents to continue providing timely intelligence, assuring confidentiality and prompt response. Major General Gara reiterated his commitment to troop welfare, operational readiness, and maintaining peace and security across the area of responsibility. Now, suspected terrorists have attacked a police border patrol outpost in a new Kali village in Borgu local government area of Niger State. The attack occurred late Sunday night, less than 48 hours after dozens of traders and farmers were killed at Kaswandaji, also in Borgu local government area, heightening fear among residents. Sources say the attackers, who rode on motorcycles, set fire to the police accommodation used as an outpost, destroyed officers' belongings, and burnt farm produce belonging to villagers. No casualties were, however, reported, but the incident has increased tension and frustration among farmers in the area. The disaster officer of Bargu local government area, Musa Saidu, confirmed the attack. Police spokesperson SP Wasiu Abiodun said the assailants were engaged in a gun battle by officers and were eventually repelled, although the security post was damaged by fire. He added that normalcy has since been restored with reinforcements deployed to the area.
To ina ne ita Hassana ta haɗu da su da bule ya kamata?
Ba ce can bane, can cikin gari ne hito ya ke can mana.
Bule da ke can?
Muna zaune wurin kai hada wa bule kai kauce. Kaga hanyar ga. Wallahi guda daya sada suka rarraba.
Bule na kai cikin gari.
Wallahi sai can. Mu sai da mun ka duka wurin mangoro. An ce man guda mai ya fadi gidan wake su. Wai suna zazzabe.
And in a related development, suspected terrorists have attacked the Isolu Isi Omuro Road in Kwara State, abducting at least 4 travelers. The incident occurred in the early hours of Monday when armed men reportedly ambushed motorists along the busy highway, a major route linking communities in Kwara South to the state capital, Ilorin. A source said the attackers forced vehicles to stop before taking some passengers to an unknown location. As at the time of filing this report, the Kwara State Police Command had not issued any official statement on the attack or rescue efforts. The incident adds to growing insecurity in Kwara State. In November 2025, gunmen attacked a Christ Apostolic Church in Eruku, killing 3 worshippers and abducting dozens who were later released. Authorities are under increasing pressure to curb the rising wave of attacks in the state. And tension has returned to the Achama Chobuk crisis in Lamurde local government area of Adamawa State after a peace accord brokered by the state government collapsed. The agreement, reached under the Ahmadu Umaru Fintiri administration and signed before security agencies and community leaders, has broken down amidst fresh accusations and threats from both sides. Our correspondent Gibson Soadigo has more on that report.
The renewed dispute follows the reported killing of 3 Chabo women. Chabo leaders allege the attack was carried out by suspected Bachama militias, a claim that has reignited anger and sharp exchange across the 2 communities. Reacting, national youth leader of the Chabo community, Luka Elisha, blamed Bachama militias for the killings and demanded the removal of the paramount ruler of the Bachama kingdom, the Ama Bachama. He said the traditional ruler no longer deserved the stool. In a video widely shared on social media, Elisha issued a 72-hour ultimatum to the Ama Bachama to vacate the throne of first consequences. He also called on the Adamawa State government to dethrone the monarch. The ultimatum drew swift reaction from the national body of the Boati Youth Wing, representing the Bachama. The group petitioned the state government and security agencies, accusing Elisha of incitement, threats, and action capable of breaching public peace. In a statement, the group rejected the allegations, saying it was unaware of any incitement that justified the claims or demands made by the Chabo youth leader. It also said Gundili is a period settlement and maintained that Bachama people have avoided Chabo communities in line with the peace accord. Meanwhile, the Adamawa State government has reinforced security presence in the area to keep order and prevent further violence as efforts to revive dialogue continue. Gibson Soadigo, Trust TV News, Yola.
And to politics now. As Nigeria edges closer to the 2027 general elections, attention is once again shifting to political godfatherism, a long-standing feature of the country's democratic experience that continues to shape party politics, alliances, and election outcomes. In this next report, Trust TV's Noel Sampson examines how power struggles within political parties are influencing public trust, voter participation, and the future of democracy.
Nigeria returned to democratic rule in 1999, but analysts say political godfatherism has remained deeply rooted in the system. In many cases, real power lies not with voters, but with influential figures who control party structures, funding, and candidate selection. Annual figures show a steady decline in voter turnout from about 54% in 2011 to below 30% in the 2023 general elections. Analysts link this trend to growing public frustration with elite-driven politics and weak internal party democracy. Recent political standoffs in states like Kano and Rivers reflect ongoing battles for control ahead of 2027. Observers warn that prolonged godfather-led conflicts risks further weakening public confidence and discouraging voter participation.
Instead of talking about development and conversations about development of the state and national development, we are talking about individuals and individual quarrels, right? So going into 2027 elections, you begin to see that people are seeing godfathers as their link to re-emergence as governors of their state, especially those that are now seeking second tenure. They are saying that I have to be loyal to this particular person for me to get a party ticket or for me to even be on the ballot, which means your loyalty is not to the people. You're not accountable to the people. And we have seen really, in the histories of elections in Nigeria where presidents, governors, do not want to be involved in debates, public debates, because they really feel that what am I going to tell the people when someone, a godfather, can simply pick me and I'll become the governor? So your loyalty now becomes to one individual rather than to the general populace.
Everyone is afraid that if you are not with us, you're not going to win. So if you look at most of the governors that are joining, are governors who have opportunity to stand in election in 2027. So the fear factor is there that if you are not with them, if you don't join them, chances are that you are not going to return again. So that itself is a form of godfatherism, because if you have 30 governors and one president in a political party, it means that the president is automatically the godfather of all.
Critics argue that godfatherism undermines internal party democracy, rewards loyalty over competence, false defections, and weakens accountability to voters, all of which affect governance and deepen public distrust. Analysts also point to reforms that could reduce its grip, including stronger party rules and transparent primaries.
Nigerians must be interested in having their voice in the internal political affairs to ensure that no one captures the internal political process of the political party. So internal democracy in political parties is, for me, the solution to this crisis.
I strongly recommend that middle class people working in universities, people working in banks, people working in every reasonable organization, teachers, primary school teachers, secondary school teachers, these kinds of people are people who need to be joining political parties en masse.
Beyond experts' views, ordinary Nigerians say the effects of godfatherism are felt daily. Residents in Abuja describe a system that limits choice, recycles political elites, and leaves citizens disconnected from decision making.
It is a problem to the nation, it is a problem to the state, it is also even a problem to the person who is occupying the position of a godson to the godfather, because he cannot do what he wants to do. He cannot execute his project except the godfather gives permission for that to be done.
The ideology of one particular individual who is called godfather should not suffice over the vast majority of Nigerians. It is very wrong.
Godfatherism in Nigeria is already a cankerworm that has eaten seriously into the fabrics of Nigerian system. Now, governance is about helping the people, it's about engaging the people, it's about making the people to feel the impact of government. But if there is a cankerworm, if there is a challenge, if there is any trouble, it will affect the growth of Nigeria system, especially as it has to do with election and the rest of it.
As political calculation intensifies nationwide, godfatherism is expected to remain a key factor on the road to 2027, raising urgent questions about party reform, voter engagement, and whether Nigeria's democracy can shift power back to the people. Well, Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Many thanks, Noel. Well, in Nigerian politics, power rarely comes cheap. Behind every election, a godfather picks a successor, demands loyalty, and often ends up in bitter conflict. From Kano to Rivers, Kaduna to Lagos, these fallouts have shaped governance and tested loyalty. As the 2027 elections loom, the pattern repeats. Abdullahi Ahmed explains how godfatherism began, why it persists, and what it means for the battles ahead.
It starts the same way every time. A powerful politician picks a successor. Money is spent. Structures are handed over. Loyalty is sworn. Then power changes hands. And then the fight begins. This is Nigeria's long-running political habit. Godfatherism, a system where power is brokered, not earned, and loyalty often matters more than performance. Godfatherism did not begin today. From independence back in 1960, politics has revolved around strong men who controlled party machinery, access to funds, and political survival. Regional leaders back then decided who ran, who won, and who stayed relevant. The military era paused elections, but it did not break that political culture. It only deepened the idea that power flows from the top, not the people. When democracy returned in 1999, godfatherism returned with it, stronger, richer, and more organized. The pattern is simple. A godfather installs a governor, or any other politician for that matter. The expectation is obedience, control of appointments, control of contracts, control of party structures. But once governors taste power, loyalty becomes negotiable. That is where fallouts begin. In Lagos, not many have the guts to go against Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who sits at the head of the political table. But one of his chosen godsons did, Akinwumi Ambode. Ambode began charting his own course. The alliance collapsed. The irony was striking. A system built on loyalty consumed one of its own. In Kano, Rabi Musa Kwankwaso politically gave birth to Abba Kabir Yusuf, bound by ideology, years of struggle, and even family, because yes, they are indeed in-laws. But once Abba took office, independence replaced obedience. The rift deepened amid talks of a possible move to the All Progressive Congress APC, where Abdullahi Ganduje, once another Kwankwaso ally, now holds sway. For Kwankwaso, the cycle felt familiar. Politics had come full circle. In Rivers, Nyesom Wike, the benefactor of Governor Sim Fubara, belonged to the same political camp, driven by shared beliefs and years of joint political work. Yet, power quickly rewrote that script. What began as a succession plan turned into an open warfare, splitting the House of Assembly and dragging state institutions into a bitter contest. The poetry was harsh but clear. Yesterday's loyalist became today's rival. In Kaduna, Nasir El-Rufai and Ubasani shared political roots, reform ideas, and a long working relationship. But after a transfer of power, alignment gave way to distance. Today, they stand on opposite sides of the political divide. Their once shared ideology reduced to competing ambitions. Why do these fallouts happen? Well, first, control of power. Godfathers want influence without responsibility. Governors want authority without interference. Second, money. Politics is expensive. Once elections are won, disagreements over access to state resources surface quickly. Third, ego and survival. Godfathers fear becoming irrelevant. Governors fear being reduced to puppets. And finally, there's the question of 2027. As the next election approaches, alliances are tested. Loyalty becomes transactional. Old friendships are reviewed. New camps emerge. Will politics move towards ideas, accountability, and nation building? Or will the old circle repeat itself once again? Godfathers picking successors, successors trying to break free, and state caught in the middle. History suggests one thing. Until political power flows through the voters, not patrons, godfatherism will keep reshaping Nigeria's politics, one broken alliance at a time.
And joining us via Zoom to discuss this is a political analyst, Jide Ojo. Good evening, Jide. Thank you for joining us.
It's my pleasure. Good evening, Ajay.
Now, what's your take on this issue of godfatherism, and what impact does it have on internal, the quality of governance?
Well, I listened with rapt attention to the vox pop and the propaganda that was done by your station, and I couldn't but agree with everything 100% that has been said in those analyses. Godfather phenomenon is not peculiar to Nigeria, neither is it peculiar to Africa. It's a global phenomenon. And usually, you know, when you know that the game of politics is a game of interest, alongside intrigues, alongside ego and all others, it's very challenging for any political neophytes to emerge on political horizon without a godfather or godmother assisting that person on the path to victory. It's just that we don't have benevolent godfathers in Nigeria any longer. And the closest we possibly have to that is the president, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who was able to nurture several people, even after he left office in 2007. He never stopped to mentor and support and, you know, see to the political emancipation and evolution of many of those who worked with him in Lagos. I recall that people like Mr. Honorable Abike Dabiri, who are, you know, political trajectory to the support given by Jagaban, even Orelope Adefulure, former deputy governor, and several other people who, even the former vice president, Yemi Osinbajo, was a mentee of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And this is even before he became president, and which is why when former Vice President Yemi Osinbajo decided to throw his hat in the ring ahead of 2023 presidential election, people saw him as a betrayer of trust that is contesting against his godfather. But be that as it may, you know, we cannot but have to contend with the issue of godfatherism in Nigerian politics. Like I said, it's not peculiar to us, it's a global phenomenon. But unfortunately, we have not been able to manage that relationship between godfather and godson, because it's almost always ended in betrayal. Look at the several examples that was given in that background. The son Ubasani and Malam Nasir El-Rufai, Iyeson Wike and Fubara, and even in Oyo State, and the late Adedibu, Lamidi Adedibu, and former governor, now Olubadan, you know, Rashid Adewolula Doja, they fell apart. Even in Anambra, where you have the issue of godfatherism turning violent between Chief Chris Tuba and Chief and former governor Chris Ngige. way back in 2003. It almost always ended in fiasco because there is oftentimes a gentleman's agreement that are brokered. And when the godson emerges victorious, he wants to be independent of the structure that brought him to power, which is usually why the negotiations always break down. But I think the way out is for us to continue to, educate our political elite, not to tread the path of handing their political future in one individual. Much as it's very difficult to champion that cause, but that is the reality. Because when you broker, how is it said, when you ride on the back of a tiger to victory, you may end up being consumed by that tiger if care is not taken. So people must know the kind of alliances they are negotiating. People must know the kind of power they are brokering on their behalf, or they themselves are brokering with the godfather. And I need to state that there are two variants of godfatherism. There are those who bankroll the election of their mentees or their godsons, and there are those who bankroll the election themselves, but needs the influence of the godfather for political victory, which is what happened in Oyo State way back in 2000. I think ahead of 2007 elections, because Rashid Adewale Ladoja, governor of Oyo State then, really was a billionaire. He has all the money, and he only needed the influence of Lamidi Adedibu to coast home to victory because of the political network that Adedibu has over the 33 local governments in Oyo State. So the funding actually came from Ladoja, not from Adedibu, unlike what happened in the case of Chris Ngige and Chris Uba, where it was Chris Uba that funded the election of Chris Ngige at that time. So there are different dimensions to it, but people must know what they are signing off to when they go into, when they go meet political godfathers for patronage.
How do we reduce the influence of godfathers in the states and restore public trust in politics?
No, the pathway to that is for us to reform the entire political administration and management structure. The issue of godfatherism, people see it only at the elections, but godfatherism stands from even how people seizing the structure that will produce candidates ahead of elections. And that's what
We sincerely apologize for the loss of connection with Jide Ojo to continue our discussion on godfatherism in Nigeria's political space. We hope to join him as soon as he comes up again. Moving on, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has warned the National Secretary of the All Progressives Congress, Senator Ajibola Basiru, to stay out of Rivers state politics. Wike issued the warning during his thank you visit to Igbo local government area of the state. The caution followed Basiru's criticism of the APC National Vice Chairman, South-South, Victor Gedom, over remarks perceived as disrespectful to Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara. Gedom had earlier described Fubara as a so-called governor and insisted that any political success in Rivers
because you have had. If I don't say this, let me warn those who come to Rivers State, because you have heard about 600 billion. You come here, you collect, and you open your mouth to talk anyhow. I want to say it. You know, when you are doing something for the interest of everybody, some people will come out to make sure those things don't work. I say it here, Victor, I want to say it here. Take this message. Tell your national secretary, leave River State alone. Leave River State alone. Go and ask those who have tried it before. Go and ask those who have tried it before. Don't take our support from Mr. President for granted. You have to be careful the statement you make.
In his reaction, the National Secretary of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Ajibola Basiru, has asked the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, to resign his appointment and focus on what he described as his obsession with Rivers State politics. Basiru said he was not intimidated by what he termed veiled threats from the minister, insisting his political experience has prepared him to withstand pressure. In a statement he personally signed, Basiru said Wike lacked the authority to interfere in APC affairs, stressing that the minister is not a member of the ruling party. He also dismissed allegations linking him to Rivers State funds, describing them as baseless. Now, prominent activist and co-convener of the Bring Back Girls movement, Aisha Yusufu, has formally joined partisan politics ahead of the 2027 general elections. She made the move on Monday after picking her membership card of the African Democratic Congress, ADC. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman has more on that report.
The ADC National Secretariat here in Wusatu, Abuja is wearing a new look with the fusion of the articulates and the obedience, and of course the rumored plan defection of the leader of the Konkosia movement, Dr. Rabi Musa Konkosu. The coming together of these political blocs is reshaping Nigeria's 2027 political narrative and of course trajectory. Quite a number of key political allies of the former Anambra State governor are already picking their membership cards here at the Secretariat, with some of them fully aligning with the road to 2027.
Would we stop?
From street activism to party politics, Aisha Yusufu says protest alone is no longer enough.
It is no longer just an option for us to be in political parties. It's a necessity for our country to be able to grow. If we want to develop this country, we need to put in our all. Countries that we look up to today, that a lot of people are thinking of jackpotting to those places, it took individuals, standing for that country and being part of the political system and ensuring that people with competence, character, capacity are the ones who get to govern the state. We've seen the effects of governance. We've seen what bad governance can do. We've seen Nigeria, what it has been into. In the last 10 years, people have been thrown into poverty. A lot of people have been killed. Lives are no longer safe. Nigerians are being hunted like animals. And we're saying enough is enough of that.
Her decision has stirred debate, with critics questioning the growing alliance between opposition politicians and well-known activists. Some argue the convergence may serve elite interest rather than the people.
When you see people like Aisha Yusufu, who have been the conscience of the nation, becoming card-carrying members of political parties, it tells you that the water has broken the banks. And so it is a new day, it's a new year, and it means one thing, that quality people, activists, conscience of the nation are now beginning to enter the center stage of political participation in the country. And I can tell you as a student of politics and democracy globally that any nation that starts witnessing people like Aisha Yusufu, come into the main limelight of opposition is signaling a particular generational shifts in the nation, and I think it is a welcome idea.
Yusufu's entry follows the recent defection of the 2023 Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi to the ADC alongside key supporters. The development is reshaping opposition politics as parties reposition ahead of 2027. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And away from politics, members of the Nigeria Union of Local Government Employees, NOLGE, resumed work across Osun State on Monday, ending an 11-month strike. Despite the calm of the council secretariats, confusion continues over the leadership of local governments as both the All Progressives Congress and the People's Democratic Party claim control of the councils. Hamid Oyegbade filed this report.
The strike declared by the leadership of NOLGE in February 2025 officially ended on Monday as members returned to their offices across the state. NOLGE said the strike was necessary to protect its members amid violent clashes between the All Progressive Congress (APC) and the People's Democratic Party over the control of local government councils. At several council secretariats in the state, APC elected chairmen and councillors received NOLGE members and assured them of their safety, while their PDP counterparts stayed away.
We have been begging, we have been asking them in a friendly manner. We are all from this state, and we are all working for the progress of this state. That they are around today, I'm damn too sure that Osun State will move forward. We have been backward in the last 11 months. What we are going to do now, we hardly can cover up with other states for 11 months now. But I'm happy that they are around, no fight, no run.
What should be paramount to us is how to utilize the autonomy given to better up the lives of the grassroots people, our career and development of local community. With autonomy in local government system, we foresee great things ahead of us. Let us show the whole world that we can manage it and succeed so as to put impostor on our freedom to shame.
Despite the resumption, controversy continues over the tenure of the APC chairman elected in 2022 for a 3-year term.
On November 27, 2022, the governor of the state issued executive order that we should all vacate at the local government. We have not even spent a month before such executive order was issued. And later, on 10th of February 2025, we were reinstated by the Court of Appeal, Akure. And as a result of that, we went back to our offices.
We have already filed a suit for tenure determination because they did not allow us to function when we were elected. We were removed by executive order, and that was why we went to court, and we won the appeal court. The court was never appealed up to today. So because of that, it is our opinion that we have just started our tenure by February 10th.
Political observers say the court will continue to play a key role in resolving the ongoing crisis within the Osun State's local government system. Hamid Oyegbade, Trust TV News, Osogbo.
Moving on to more stories now. 6 persons, including children, have been confirmed dead following the collapse of a residential building in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital. The incident occurred on Sunday at Bintu Sugar in the Ngomari Airport area of the city. The victims were rescued from the rubble and taken to a nearby hospital where they were confirmed dead by medical personnel. As at press time, authorities have yet to issue an official statement to determine the cause of the building collapse. A tenant in the compound, Usman Bukar, who expressed shock over the incident, said he now fears for his safety and has appealed for urgent repair to the building.
Wato dai abun da ke faruwa ni na fita wajen aiki.
I received a call from my brother's wife informing me about the incident. I was deeply shocked and immediately rushed to the scene with a friend. I broke down in tears because lives were lost, especially children who were my neighbors. I have lived in this rented house for 8 years. If the house is not repaired, I will have to move. But getting another place is very expensive. Right now, I am confused and devastated. We were inside our house knitting caps when we heard people shouting. We rushed outside and saw what had happened. Some victims were lifeless, while others were still conscious. We helped pull out 4 bodies and a woman. Those who were unconscious were taken to the hospital, and one is still receiving treatment.
Electricity consumers in Katsina metropolis were thrown into darkness on Sunday night after a fire raised a 15 MVA power transformer at the Kano Electricity Distribution Company powerhouse. The incident came barely weeks after improved power supply during the festive season had raised hopes among residents. Trust TV's Abdullah Yamadi has more.
The fire, which broke out at about 8:30 p.m., completely destroyed the 15 MVA T3 power transformer, resulting in a total blackout across several parts of Katsina metropolis. Although no life was lost, the inferno took hours to contain as firefighters from the federal and Katsina state services battled to bring the blaze under control. Residents say the incident has sparked fear and uncertainty, particularly among small business owners who depend on electricity for their daily livelihood. Many are now calling on relevant authorities to ensure the immediate repair or replacement of the transformer, especially as the Muslim fasting period approaches.
The thing affected our light. There was no light. My phone is off. That's why I'm charging it with this thing. So that is how it affected us. What I hope to happen is, I'm hoping that the people that's in charge will take care of it. And because as at the house there, we are using prepaid meter. So if you don't have light, which means we will not be able to charge our light. Yes, we are using prepaid meter there, we are charging it.
Already, the light here is not all that is suitable. They bring it at times, some days man you not go see light. Now that this thing happened, it will affect it the more, because without light, we have to buy kankala to sell our minerals. So that's the issue. It will increase the light issue. It will increase the problem, because already they know they give us light constantly. Now that this thing happened, it will increase the problem of light restoration.
The fire incident will no doubt affect my business, both directly and indirectly. We are therefore passionately appealing to the relevant authorities to urgently help either repair the transformer or replace it with a new one. We also learned that the affected transformer was purchased by the late Umar Musa Radwa when he was governor of Katsina State. And we are now appealing to Governor Dikko to do the same. In a swift response, the Kano Electricity Distribution Company KEDCO confirmed the incident in a statement signed by its head of corporate communications, Sani Balasani. According to the company, the cause of the fire is yet to be determined, but its technical team is already on ground to assess the damage and work towards restoring power supply as quickly as possible. KEDCO added that the affected areas have been isolated as a safety measure to protect lives and property. The outage currently affects parts of Katsina metropolis, including Kofar Kaura, GRA, Dandaguru, parts of Kofar Marusa, Jambongu, Sokotorima, Kano Road, and surrounding communities. The company apologized for the inconvenience and assured customers that safety and prompt restoration remain its top priority. Meanwhile, some residents have raised concerns over what they describe as poor maintenance of the power facility, warning that neglect, especially during the Harmattan season, could trigger similar incidents in the future. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
And for a bit on business, oil prices fell on Monday following a U.S. military operation that seized Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro, raising expectations of increased oil supply from the country with the world's largest proven crude reserves. In early Asian trading, Brent crude slipped 0.21% to $60.62 per barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate fell 0.35% to $57.12 after touching earlier lows. Analysts say the prospect of more Venezuelan oil entering the market has added to oversupply concerns, putting further pressure on prices already weakened in recent months. U.S. President Donald Trump said Washington will now take control of Venezuela and deploy American companies to revive its oil sector though experts warn boosting production will be slow and challenging after years of sanctions and underinvestment. And away from Nigeria, deposed Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has pleaded not guilty to charges of narco-terrorism before a federal court in New York. Maduro, who was captured by U.S. forces during a dramatic raid in Caracas over the weekend, told the judge he had been kidnapped and insisted he remains Venezuela's legitimate president. His wife, Celia Flores, also entered a not guilty plea. The arrests have sparked global concern, with the United Nations calling for respect for national sovereignty. Mexico and Colombia have openly condemned the U.S. action, warning of serious regional consequences. Maduro has ruled Venezuela since 2013. And in sports, the Nigerian Super Eagles took the lead against Mozambique when Ademola Lookman scored the opening goal in the 20th minute of the first half. Victor Osimhen increased the tally to 2-0 with a goal in the 25th minute, also in the first half. Osimhen added his second goal of the match early in the second half, making it 3-0 in the 47th minute against the Numbers of Mozambique. Ako Adams sealed the victory with a fourth goal in the 78th minute of the game. It should be noted that the Super Eagles won all their group stage matches, a performance that gives them confidence going into the encounter with Mozambique. Meanwhile, the Pharaohs of Egypt defeated Benin Republic 3-1 to book a place in the quarterfinals of the ongoing 35th edition of the African Cup of Nations taking place in Morocco. The first goal of the match was scored by Marwan Attia of Egypt in the 68th minute. Dosu of Benin equalized in the 83rd minute. In a match that lasted over an hour of intense play, Ibrahim Yasser restored Egypt's lead to make it 2-1 before they eventually secured the 3-1 victory. And with that, we've come to the end of the news on this hour on Trust TV. We thank you very much for joining us. Do not forget to follow us across all our media platforms and join our YouTube live stream for more news. I am Fatima Abbas Hassan. Good night.
News Hour.